Great gain often comes through great loss. Hey, good morning. I hope you had a good night's rest and you're ready for a new day. It is Saturday morning, and I got home about 8 o'clock last night, give or take, 8:30, something like that. Nah, it was later than that. It don't matter. I just woke up. My brain's not clicking quite right yet. Kind of like my video that I posted the other day. I posted when I was I had a harrowing moments. It would have been a couple days ago, Thursday, and I tried to post that video, but it posted with no sound. I'm like, really? And I was about midnight when I realized there was no sound, and I just didn't have in me to redo the video or try to find out what was going on. And it was an amazing preservation that I had the other day as I was coming through the I-70, Interstate I-76, the turnpike in Pennsylvania. And as I was coming around a corner where I-76 and 70 come together, uh, there was a couple big old potholes in the road, and I veered off to the right, just onto the shoulder. They're big old potholes, and I didn't want my front tire to smack that sucker, so I veered off onto the shoulder and missed him. And as I was coming around the corner, before I could get back on off the shoulder, there was a mud flap sitting there. And as I rolled over it, we call that sort of thing gators, road gators, if you would. And why do we call debris in the road gators? It's because as you run over there, oftentimes they jump up and they cause havoc. They rip things, they tear up stuff, and that's what happened here. As I rolled across it, it jumped up into the air, and my trailer was going over it, it literally sliced my airline off of my trailer. Just sliced. There's a plastic connection that connects two hoses together. And as I went across that, I heard the hissing in my dashboard suddenly, and I'm like, oh, that's not a good sound whatsoever. And why is that? It's because there's an airline that goes to the trailer, and there's two little knobs on your dash. There's a red one and a blue one, and when you pull those knobs out, it stops the airflow. And the trailer is equipped with a parking brake, and when you pull that knob, it cuts off the air. When there's no air, the parking brakes automatically come on. And if I was running 65, 70 miles an hour down the road, and you can imagine what will happen when there's no more air in that trailer and those brakes suddenly grab and there's traffic everywhere. But for the grace of God, when I heard that hissing and I realized what must have just happened, by the grace of God, I was able to get over to the right as the on-ramp from I-70 was coming on I-76. At that precise moment, I saw an exit that I was able to cross into the lane right between traffic coming on, and I was able to grab the shoulder of the on-ramp. And just as I pulled off and I was able to just barely get it over so I'd be out of everybody's traffic, my brakes locked up. And just as I was coming to a stop, them suckers grabbed just that fast. And there I was. And if that isn't enough, after I got the repair done, I won't go into any of that, but as I took off 20 minutes down the road, it started raining, and a big old semi with a tanker on the back of it was trying to avoid hitting all these other trucks that suddenly locked up and almost jackknifed right in front of me. And then several hours later, that was a harrowing day. Just a terrible, terrible, heart-pounding moments. That's the thing about trucking. It's hours and hours of sheer boredom and seconds and moments of sheer terror sometimes. But for the grace of God, I sit here this morning and I'm so very grateful. How about you? You grateful? I'd like to share a message of hope and encouragement, and I found something from Vernon Grounds that's entitled The Gain of Loss, and it was published August 30, 1996. And Hebrews 12:11 says, "No chastening seems to be joyful. Nevertheless, afterwards it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness." He writes, "When she was a child, Nancy was taught that winning isn't everything. It's how you play the game that counts. But when she became an adult, she adopted another approach to life. As the as the wife of Dick Howser, for those of you who love the Kansas City Royals, she agreed with her husband's philosophy that it doesn't matter what you do, just so long as you win. Well, they had a harrowing experience that brought about a reversal in their values. You see, Dick was afflicted with brain cancer, forcing him to resign as manager. After what has happened, said Nancy, I realized that my priorities in the so-called real world were all wrong. Now Dick and I know that the old way was right. We may be so determined, right, to win in the competitive game of life that we literally turn our backs on the principles that are laid down in Scripture. Sometimes God in love, He lets us undergo pain and loss to motivate us to readjust our values and principles and priorities. He lovingly chastens His children so that we will produce the fruit of righteousness, Hebrews 12:11. And through our testimony, He brings non-Christians to see that only biblical principles can guide us safely through the deceptive maze of earthly ambition. And so he writes, let's learn from our losses. And this is speaking to Christians. God often sends me joy through pain, through bitter loss, divinest gain. Yet through it all, dark days or bright, I know my Father leads aright. Written by Conklin. At the bottom of the page it says, great gain, once again, often comes through great loss. So I don't know about you. Are you living your life so that that as people watch you live your life, they can see Scripture unfold right before them, that they see us as standing up for righteousness and truth, and as it says, to be holy as He is holy? I wish I could say every day, every moment, every second of every day, man, that's me. I do that every single time. But I would be lying too. We all, right? We all deal with the flesh. We're called to walk in the Spirit so we don't fulfill the desires of the flesh. When we're walking in the Spirit, man, it's a beautiful thing. Even though we may be going through hard, tough times, but yet it is required of us. It is required of us. And what happens when I fail, when you fail, to walk in the Spirit? Instead, we pull up the old man and put him on for a little while and have our attitudes and say the things we want to say, no, we shouldn't say. Oh, Father, please help me, forgive me. I done messed up again. Please cleanse me and renew me and bring me back on track in you. That's the prayer that I pray. How about you? And what's beautiful is He is faithful and just, and He will forgive us if we seek Him first, ask Him to forgive. He's just that awesome of a God. I hope this is a blessing for you this morning. I am so grateful to be here this morning. I'm grateful that for those that watch these videos, it's very humbling that anybody would actually want to watch any or see anything that I say or do. Thank you, and may God bless and lead you and guide you as we start this new day. Shalom. Let's go serve our King. Bye-bye.